On today's Mega News, the gates of Mega Man X6 content opens once again in the DiVE blog, and this time X6 is going to give you nightmares all over again. RiCO takes another step towards becoming a real Mega Man X character by showing her face in TEPPEN of all games, that is. 30XX's Abyssal Armory update is now live today, and we got some merchandising and manga news as well. All of that coming up on the Mega News Roundup. Let's rock! Happy March, everybody! Welcome to your Mega News Roundup for March 1st, 2022. Coming to you from the ShadowRockZX YouTube channel and the MegaManNetwork.com. I'm ShadowRock as always, and let's get right into it. Rockman X DiVE has been getting some X6 content over the last few months, but today the floodgates have opened because none other than the man himself, Gate, is coming to the DiVE blog this week. And not only him, we're also getting White Tron, which is based on her scientist costume from the misadventures of Tron Bonne. Nice reference, although she is missing the wacky glasses. Now, right off the bat, Gate is a permanent character, but White Tron is a limited character. And going by the naming scheme, they don't outright say White Day Tron, but considering that this event goes until March 15th, it's pretty safe to guess that White Tron is their answer to White Day for the year. Kind of a shame we won't get more of the likes of White Day Axel from last year. But, White Tron is a good enough substitute. Anyway, this Mad Scientist banner, as it's called, also comes with a new Buster type weapon, the Monoclonius, which is based on Albert's first form in the final boss fight of Mega Man ZX Advent. That design is looking sick! Now let's back up a bit and talk about the upcoming event, which is just titled Mad Scientist. And mad is an appropriate word for the stage that they're gonna make us play. Yep, not only is Gate playable, but he brought his stage along with him. And from what we can see in the trailer, the level design on display here is just about as toxic as X6 was, with an overabundance of spikes, tiny platforms to stand on, and a compressor that if it falls on you, you're gonna end up as flat as pallet. All of these traps, of course, making their return from X6. Well, that's a heck of a stage to make us play with touch controls, assuming you're playing on mobile. We know Capcom can be sadistic, but man, this takes it a step further. However, there is one silver lining. Because of the mechanics of DiVE, none of these traps are insta-kills unlike in X6 originally. So if you touch a spike, you just take damage, and if you get hit by the compressor, you'll just get warped to an earlier part of the stage or wherever the game sends you, to be honest. DiVE can be like that sometimes. That's all to be expected though. So then let's discuss the individual characters. In Gate's intro animation, he starts out in his usual white coat Reploid form. I guess in that way he could be a White Day character himself. Right away, Gate removes his attire to reveal his battle form in the exact same fashion that he did in X6, so that's a nice touch. Continuing the callbacks, Gate summons all of his different colored orbs, which were a key feature in his original boss fight, every orb having a different effect. He combines all the orbs together to use Force Lightning. Okay, I don't recall Gate having that attack, but sure DiVE, let's go with it. And finally, obligatory original art pose. Okay, there is an error in this intro animation though. Specifically, it doesn't look like his kneecaps are connected properly in certain parts of the animation. What can I say, guys? Deep log errors. Now, any X6 players will recall that Gate only had 2 attacks in his boss fight originally, so you can guess what his 2 skills are going to be. As he always does, for skill 1, Gate starts out with those orbs we were talking about. With Nightmare Hall, Gate will send out 2 homing orbs onto incoming enemies. The trailer also mentions that there are 4 different types of nightmare holes that you can switch between for different effects, which most likely refers to Gate's chips for this skill. Similar to characters like Copy X, you can change the attribute of your attack depending on the chip that you equip. And this is fitting because, like I said, every orb did something different. The purple orb summoned nightmare enemies, the blue orb sucked X and Zero towards it, and so on. Hey, if the red orb is a part of his moveset, does that mean the red orb is just going to lag the game even more? I'm not gonna lie, that would be funny to see in PvP. But more than likely, if it is in here, it would be a straight debuff for movement speed. But hey, that's just my guesses without looking at the data mines. Hooray! Next up, as we all know, once Gate gets to critical health, he will start spamming the Nightmare Strike, which is skill 2. This time around, Nightmare Strike appears to have gotten a wider range. And although it's still a short range attack, anything that gets hit by that is going to take some massive damage. But hey, at least he can't destroy the platform beneath you anymore, unless they introduce a PvP stage like that. But to make up for that, Nightmare Strike now stuns you. Although that just means that if you want to avoid the stun, you just stay far away from Gate. Maybe it would have been better to put the stun on the orbs. Furthermore, when you rank up Gate, he will get buffs when he uses a skill, gains preventive shield, and he can even recover health. Not too shabby, Gate. Not too shabby. Alright, now let's analyze White Tron. Like I said, this costume is based on Misadventures of Tron Bonds, so of course the Serbots have to get involved somehow. This time they're up to their usual mischief and end up breaking the research equipment. Hold a lever, Serbot! And down comes Tron. Not gonna lie, that looked like it hurt. And you know, if this was Mega Man Legends or Misadventures of Tron Bond, Tron would normally be yelling at the Serbots here and getting on their case for being a bunch of buffoons. But instead, she just goes, oh well, and puts on a big smile. Well, that's wholesome for Tron. Let's keep those Misadventures references coming, shall we? Skill 1 is Serbot Borer Customer. And yes, this is the same borer that the Serbots used in the actual game when you're exploring the underground ruins in that RPG-like game mode. Regardless of terrain, the borer will pierce the heavens, or in this case, the terrain, dealing massive damage to any enemy in its path. It can lock on too, just like skill 2, Focused Barrage. With this skill, Tron orders the Serbots to lock on, take aim, and snipe. With the equipable chips, you can also choose between 3 debuffs. In summary, the trailer mentions that White Tron is all about that damage, baby, doing a ton of damage in a short amount of time, which immediately reminds you of Super Bass or Proto Man EXE, characters like that. Will she be as powerful as them? We'll have to wait and see, but if she lives up to the hype from the trailer, we might be looking at a real contender here. After all, the ability to pierce terrain is already pretty dang good. The Mad Scientist banner is coming on March 2nd, and will be running until March 15th, 2 weeks everybody. And I do gotta say, this banner is refreshing, coming off of the weeks of OC characters with really strange designs, the waifu factor, and all the usual shenanigans that DiVE gets up to. This banner just keeps things a little bit more simple. We have a new Mega Man X cast member finally coming to the game. And yeah, you could say White Tron fulfills the waifu quota, but I'll give it a pass just because it is a nice reference to Misadventures of Tron Bonds. Now that's the kind of content we do need more of. Not to mention the fact that Gate plays so faithfully to his original appearance. White Tron is very faithful to her game. Yeah, like I said, please do more of this, DiVE, please. In more DiVE news, Capcom Taiwan has announced that the Steam version of Rockman X DiVE, or as they love to call it, Mega Man X DiVE, they're really pushing the English logo lately. We'll get into that in a second. But yes, on March 3rd, the Steam version is coming to the following countries that you can see on screen right now. Essentially, it looks like the South American community is going to be very happy soon. Unless, of course, you're one of the poor souls playing the global version and you never switched over to the Taiwan version, because once again, the Steam version is based on the Taiwan version of Rockman-X DiVE. Still no word if Global will ever do their own Steam version. As we discussed previously, it seems like this is it for Steam. It's just Rockman-X DiVE. I say that, but if you scroll through the Capcom Taiwan Twitter account lately, we talked about before about how they rebranded into the Steam version account, and although the tag is still RX DiVE Asia, the name that they're going with for the account now is literally Mega Man X DiVE Steam version. When you go through all of the different promotional material aside from the character trailers like the Gate one we just covered, you'll see that they're using the Mega Man X DiVE logo a lot recently. Yeah, not the Japanese one, no, the English logo. Very strange, huh? It's just one of those things that makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes between Capcom and NebulaJoy. Is Capcom trying to sweep NebulaJoy under the rug with all this? Or what? Because it sure as heck looks like that Capcom is trying to push the Steam version as the definitive way to play DiVE in English now. Or you know, when you consider the additional countries they're adding, the definitive way to play for anyone regardless of where you come from. While we're on the topic, by the way, here's an amusing ad that Capcom Taiwan did recently. Well, just looking at it, you already know where they're going with this.
What am I fighting for?
Yep, it's that meme, and they even have a screenshot of Zero vs Iris in PvP to go along with it. The caption says, "Is this the saddest scene in the series to you? Happy Valentine's Day." And yeah, this was back during the Valentine's event. And by itself, yeah, that's pretty amusing. Funny joke, Capcom, funny joke. But then, you know what NebulaJoy did? Oh, this week, they're taking that, and they're really running with it. For the global version of Mega Man X DiVE, introducing the DiVE Festival. What am I fighting for? Banner. You can't make this stuff up, folks. They literally took a meme and made it into a banner. You have Zero and Iris for the featured characters, and then the featured weapon is the assault equipment. Missed opportunity to make an extraordinary mortar for X4 Sigma, but whatever, I guess. It's still a limited weapon, and Iris is still a DiVE Festival unit, so it's not the worst banner ever, it's just kind of funny. Although, having Zero as a feature doesn't really do much since you could technically unlock him by just playing story mode. But I suppose the extra memories for the DNA code is nice. The real amusing part of this banner though is just the salt that is in the replies on their tweet. Because the fun police has arrived and they're apparently really tired of the "what am I fighting for" meme. In my personal opinion on this, is this meme kind of overdone at this point? Yeah, kinda. But is it still really iconic? Yeah. So to me, I don't really care at all. If it's just a one-off thing, they can do whatever they want. Now, if they do start spamming this kind of idea every single month or something along those lines, okay, then yeah, they're overdoing it. I'm actually not sure how this banner came to be. Obviously, NebulaJoy would have to ask for permission to do this, since at the end of the day, everything goes through Capcom, or at least it's supposed to. But beyond that, did NebulaJoy just see the tweet from Capcom Taiwan on Valentine's Day and then decide to do their own thing based on that? Or was it just a coincidence? Maybe we'll find out later in a Q&A or something. But for now, to me, when I saw this, I was just amused by it. Definitely not salty about the quote-unquote unfunny joke like some people are. People these days, man, they're just so uptight. But that's also Twitter for you. Enough of the ad stuff for now. We do have one more unfortunate update to share for Rockman-X DiVE. Heading on back to Capcom Taiwan's Twitter account. Remember the time that they announced that they were going to do voices for Bass and his different forms? And it was supposed to happen by winter? Winter is essentially over now, so yep, the jig is up. They do have to announce that the voices have been delayed. They said regarding the voices of Forte that were originally scheduled to be set up, there are serious delays. It had to be postponed again. We apologize again for any inconvenience caused. But hey, here's 600 elemental medals. Thanks, Capcom. I mean, I'll definitely take the medals, but yeah, we all expected at this point that the voices had to have been delayed because it's been so long since that announcement. And we're getting into March now, so spring is coming up, winter is essentially over. So this announcement was 100% expected, but the EMs, again, are kinda nice. But you know Capcom, you know how you could have fixed this? You could have at least for classic base, used his Mega Man 8 clips.
Go get it!
He does have them, so use them. Okay, and then there's one more thing that people really wanted me to cover, and that's the fact that once again, Capcom Taiwan is doing a Steam version only event. From now to February 27th, log in to the Steam version to get an event support crate X1. Rewards will be sent before March 24. And what you get is one of 3 characters, Classic Base, Proto Man, or Super Mega Man. And this is to celebrate the 12th anniversary of Mega Man 10. Even though Super Mega Man technically didn't make an appearance in Mega Man 10, but we'll let it slide. But yeah, once again, like with the last time they had a Steam only event and people got pissed because they went through a whole retweet campaign just to get nothing on the mobile versions. People are more and more starting to realize that these Steam events are not really going away. And so yes, people are kind of pissed about it. But in this instance, I can't really complain. They were transparent up front with this one, saying it's only for Steam version. As long as you're transparent about it, there's not a lot I can really say about it. Other than, like I said last time, you may as well just give the rewards to everybody, especially in the case of that retweet campaign, since other than that, the good thing is the Steam version is free to download. You just have to make a Steam account, and they're adding more and more countries as they go along, so that does inspire hope that eventually there will come a point when you don't even need a VPN to download the Steam version. So really, at the moment, if you are within the supported territories, it couldn't be any easier to just go ahead and download this. You can use the same login details from your Taiwan account, and for this event in particular, all you have to do is log into Steam once and you get the reward. You can literally uninstall it for all we care after that. Although you probably still want to keep it on your accounts for the next time they have another Steam exclusive event. That's about all I wanted to say about it. I know it sucks for people who physically cannot get the Steam version, but if you are in the position to do so, it's really not that hard. You don't have to jump through that many hoops. It's just a matter of linking your Taiwan account to Steam, and then you can freely switch between the two, like I've personally been doing, playing on Steam. And then if I want to be on the go, I just play on my phone. It's not that difficult. Next up on the roundup, we're leaving the deep log, but we're not done with the Rockman-X DiVE news either. TEPPEN is coming out with a new card pack once again on March 1st, which should be today, which is titled Defying the Light. And this one is really interesting because, once again, we have some Mega Man X cards. And there's some deep cuts in here too, like X having Zero's Buster in one card, and then in another we see Mac. Wait, who's Mac? Mac and cheese? What? No, in all honesty, Mac from Mega Man X3. Wow, never thought I'd see him again. But then the most shocking reveal is that RiCO is in TEPPEN now? What? Even Nero over here is like, Mother of God. What have they done? And this would mark the 3rd crossover that Rockman-X DiVE has had with a mobile game after Tower of Saviors and the Shiro Neko project. But now we're having a crossover with a mobile game that more of us over here in the West is more familiar with. and that's pretty cool to see. RiCO is really taking yet another step forward to becoming a canon character. Is being included in TEPPEN mean she's a canon character now for the X series? Not necessarily, because I see TEPPEN as more of a celebration of Capcom's history from all of their titles, and for all intents and purposes, Rockman-X DiVE, even though it's a mobile game, it's still part of that history. So it makes sense to have a little cameo from RiCO in some of the cards here, and definitely in the story of Defying the Light. To me, I can't really consider RiCO as a canon character unless she does appear in Mega Man X9 for some reason, or some other X series game that's canon to the storyline. Still, I can't deny it is surreal to see RiCO interacting with other Capcom characters, like outside of DiVE. It's true, it does make things feel a little bit more official. At least in the way that RiCO is here to stay. If you'd like to see all the cards for yourself in action, the Defying the Light pack is out today, March 1st. The game is on mobile, so check it out. For our last headliner for today, I want to give a shout out to the indie game 30XX. We've streamed this game a few times in the past, and it is still in early access on Steam as we speak, but this game just continues to get even better, with continued updates to the game coming out all the time. The reason why I mention it today is because the second major update to 30XX is out today. They shadow dropped it, and they're calling this update the Abyssal Armory. Abyssal Armory adds a new stage, Water Grab, where players navigate spicy gravity flipping fields and manipulate the stage's large goo blocks to your advantage as you battle towards the agile Experiment 9, who uses his room's gravity to his advantage. From the new boss, Nina gets the Autodrome power, which lets her summon a temporary repro that automates her other powers, and then Ace gets the Leviathan power, a bomb that interacts with most of his other powers. This major update also includes tons of new items to pick up. The one that stands out to me the most is the new Resonant Armor. Similar to 20XX, when you pick up the armor parts, your character actually changes appearance to reflect the armor equipped now, which is great. 20XX had it, and I wish 30XX had it too, and now they do. Awesome. And in order to obtain these new Resonant Armor pieces, you'll have to fight mini boss encounters that are brand new, and they occur at the end of the new High Combat Gauntlet subzones. New to this update as well, if you complete a core armor set, just like in 20XX, you get a full core set bonus on top of that. Finally, we get two new core sets as well, the Corruption Balancing Vagrant set and the Repro Focused Zookeeper set. If you want to get all the details on this latest update, I'll have a link to the patch notes in the description below. But yeah, 30XX is really shaping up now. It is now up to 8 levels, which means when you play Mega Mode, which for anyone who doesn't know, 30XX is a roguelike game at its core, but Mega Mode allows you to play it like it's a Mega Man game with 8 bosses to choose from the beginning, in any order you choose, and then the stages stay constant no matter what you do until you beat the mode. But yeah, when you play Mega Mode, now the game just goes up to all 8 stages. Awesome. And there's some new difficulty stuff in there too once you get up to 7 and 8. I definitely want to check this out on a stream soon, so if I do end up doing that, it will be right here on this YouTube channel. Stay tuned folks, and what can I say, I really like 30XX so far, and I think it's worth checking out if you play on Steam. Hopefully when this game is fully feature complete, we'll see some console versions at some point, but that may still be a year or 2 off at this point. We'll see. And guys, with some of the major news out of the way, let's end off with some merchandise and manga. Like this awesome Mega Man 11 poster from 86. These guys are so talented, and they've been on fire with their recent Mega Man 11 products, like all the t-shirts, the pins, and the previous poster that was basically kind of like if Mega Man 11 had an alternate box art. It's really that good. This latest one is titled Level Medley, and that pretty much says it all. This poster is literally a mismatch of every single one of the Robot Master stages in Mega Man 11. seamlessly knit together into one continuous world. You get a general idea of how each stage works, a little bit of what each of the robot masters are about and what they do, and you even have Mega Man using each of his special weapons. Now, there is one little nitpick I have, and that is that none of the special weapons match up with the weaknesses for the bosses. Like, if you were going to use this poster as a guide of how to do the boss order for Mega Man 11, you don't want to use this as a reference. But still, this is a dang cool poster, and I can say that because I have the poster myself right behind me. Yep, I already ordered this bad boy and it's already been shipped to me. Really, I'm just waiting to get a poster frame for this so I can hang it up on my wall. And coincidentally, the poster size is 18 by 24 inches. So if you need to get a poster frame for yourself for this, there you go. The poster itself is $15 US on the 86th website. I'll have a link to that in the description below, and while you're there, I would definitely recommend all of the Mega Man 11 products from 86. They are seriously high quality stuff, and I can speak to that because I'm a customer myself. I bought this all with my own money, and you know what? I just realized I'm actually wearing the Mega Man 11 Dr. Wily t-shirt from 86 right now as I record this video, so you guys know I use this stuff. That's enough gushing for now though. Let's move on to an update from First 4 Figures. So back in 2019, they tried to do a Zero statue, but it didn't come to fruition because of the poor sculpt quality. However, on Facebook, Alex Davis from First 4 Figures has shared that they're working on a brand new Zero statue. And this is still early in production, but by way of Rockman Corner, we do have an image of the hair from Zero that is currently being sculpted. And even the hair looks really insanely detailed. You can see the individual strands on the hair. Alex says that this version is light years ahead of the original one and really shows how much better it is with the Dream Team handling the creatives instead of me. Can't wait till the full reveal, second half of the year I think. That pretty much does it for the merchandising news. So, as always, let's end off with some good old Rockman-chan. Chapter 17 Part 3 came out today. And it once again features that old tin Mega Man from the European box art. Together, along with Rockman himself, they fight off the monsters from that very box art and end up saving the day. There's not a lot more to say about it, but check it out in the description below if you want to. This manga just keeps getting crazier and crazier to deep cuts. And hopefully this won't be the last time we see Tin Mega Man. Maybe he would have ended up in Mega Man Universe had it actually come out. That pretty much does it for our Mega News Roundup for today, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned to ShadowRockZX for all things Mega Man, and be sure to visit themmnetwork.com for editorials, reviews, and videos like this one. If you would like to show your further support beyond the usual liking, subscribing, and all that, we do have our channel membership service here on the ShadowRockZX channel where you can support for as little as $1 a month in exchange for a variety of perks. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank our SA and GA class supporters. We have SA class supporter Crimson R, thank you so much, as well as to Vent Crystals, Adrian Cauldron, Chaos Bankai, RiCO Syndrome, and Austin Buford heading up our GA class supporters. We really appreciate all of you guys' support, and you guys are the ones really keeping this channel going. And that goes for all of our channel members, and even those of you who just watch the content. We appreciate it. Until next time, when we do the Rockman X Dive stream this Wednesday, and the 30XX stream I want to do, rock on, and have yourselves a great time zone.